95% of my revenue comes from AdSense on oddly satisfying videos where I was getting like 100,000 to 300,000 views every video consistently. And then NordVPN came and they're like, hey, listen, we can just give you $1,500 per video if you just mentioned it in the first 45 seconds. I was like, it's not related to my niche, but that's so much money that I don't care.
I think I made like 20, 30K in 1 year from creator code, which might not seem as much.
It's a full-time salary.
That's affiliate. Like, you're not doing anything for it. You're just saying, use my code. That's it. That's it. And you're making like an extra 30K per year. The main pitfall of many of these creators and passionate people is that they don't outsource. They don't have that business mindset. And that's really like the model I'm going for with the coaching as well. I'm taking passionate people like me in the past with unfair advantages that they can utilize, either a passion or a hobby or skills they have. And then I like to transform them into branded empires.
Hey everyone, welcome to a brand new podcast. And today I'm here with Leander. How are you today?
I'm great, how are you?
I'm doing amazing.
Perfect.
How's Dubai?
It's been chaotic, I can't lie. So the whole moving process, I've underestimated it a little bit. Of course, if you're moving country, stuff always comes up. So it's been more expensive than I thought. It's been more chaotic than I thought, but so far so good. I love it here.
That's amazing to hear, because as maybe people know, if you're new to our channel, you might not know, but what we do is pretty much we do something called YouTube automation, where we pretty much make faceless videos. And my goal is to interview people that are well known in the field and ask them for their tips and see what they can bring to the table for all the viewers watching. So can you tell me, how did you actually get started with YouTube and how did you roll into YouTube automation?
So yeah, I started as an actual creator. So I started out by just making reaction videos to Justin Bieber, Ariana Grande, like pop music, because I just wanted to make it at all costs. I thought that was going to be the gap, but it's easy to get reaction views, but it's not really easy to monetize since copyright issues, and yeah, like you're in a sea of competition there. So that didn't really work out, stopped for a while. At one point, I decided to pick up Fortnite because the brother of my ex-girlfriend played it, wanted to invite me for a game, loved it, started picking that up. And then at one point I thought, I'm really like, YouTube has always been a passion of mine. It started eating at me. Like, I just wanted to create content again. So I started making Fortnite videos. And that basically blew me up to the point where I could do it full time. And then through multiple niche switches, I came to like 360,000 subscribers. And yeah, made content now on documentaries and now eventually coaching as well.
Interesting. So your first big money was with Fortnite?
Yeah.
How much were you making back then?
It wasn't a lot because, as you know, like creators don't really know how to monetize well. I was one of them. So I was working a night shift, like a part-time job, while doing the YouTube channel. So I never really went all in, which was a massive mistake I made. So I was making anywhere from $6,000 to $12,000 per month with sponsorships that could go up to 20. But I wasn't ever really making any good money consistently. Like, it was very fluctuating, so to say. Yeah.
So like 1 month like 3,000, the other month like 15.
Yeah.
So you're never like, hey, can I stop my job or not stop my job? So it was like a doubt that was struggling with there.
Exactly, because it was so fluctuant, I just was too scared to stop my job. And that prevented me from going all in and scaling that even more, because I should have hired a scriptwriter. I should have hired maybe like my voice, like outsource it to someone else. I had an editor, but yeah, I should have just automated the whole process more, which brings us to YouTube automation, yeah.
Yeah, so your first struggle was making the content yourself, and then pretty much the flaws in that were like, hey, listen, I'm doing all the work myself, but not hiring the right people to do it for me, in which I'm spending too much time and not certain of getting a return on investment in that regard.
Exactly.
Or return on time, let's say that way, probably better.
Yeah.
So you started with Fortnite. Did you switch that niche on the same channel, or did you just start another channel, or how did that go?
Yeah, so I did it on the same channel, which is pretty rare. I think it's also one of the most difficult things to do, so I wouldn't recommend it to anyone.
Yeah.
But how I did it is, so at one point, the Fortnite gameplay was kind of like dying out because Fortnite comes in seasons. Yeah. So some seasons you get a lot of views because it's very popular, and then it dives down. And one time it dove down so much that it took my whole brand with it. And I just wasn't interesting enough anymore for people because I also didn't improve. I was like 22, 23 at the time, there's 16-year-old kids playing that game who absolutely destroyed me, and people watched me for improvement and competitive gameplay, right? So I couldn't keep up anymore. I wasn't interesting anymore. So at that point, I was really, really struggling financially. Like, I went into the new year, I made, I think, 500 euros, and my bills were already, I'd say like 700 to 800. And so I couldn't even pay the taxes of that month. I could barely pay my bills. I couldn't pay my groceries. So that's when I was like panicking. I actually had mental breakdowns during that time because I also had an ex-girlfriend that I wanted to like financially support as well. She was living with me, and she couldn't work because of education and all that stuff, right? So I was calling my parents every month, like, I'm not sure how I'm going to get out of this. Like, I feel stuck. I'm not going to make it. I think I need to go back to a full-time job.
Damn.
And so at one point, I gave myself one single week. Like, this week, I'm going to think of one very good video idea, going to try something new. If it works, it works. If it doesn't, I'm going back to a 9 to 5 because I just can't do this anymore. Like, I'll literally financially ruin myself and go into debt. And that is when I saw like Sunny V2 making documentaries. And that's when I actually started doing more research. I didn't just make gameplay videos. I started researching. I started working on my ideation. And I thought, you know what? I only have 2 competitors in Fortnite with documentaries. One stopped because they had some copyright issues because they took down all their documentaries. And one only uploaded one every month or something. Yeah. And still got millions of views. So I saw that gap. I decided to really think of a good video idea, and that video blew up to 1 million views. And from there on, I could finally get back into the flow. And that is when I started building the channel better. I started outsourcing a little bit more with the editing as well. But yeah, the main problem for me was always, even at the end, it's why I stopped with the whole channel in general and went into coaching, is because I never outsourced. And that's the biggest problem, because if I did that, I would still have that channel running very profitably today. But I hired editors that were too expensive. Script writers couldn't keep up with my style because I developed it for 4 years. So that was the main bottleneck for me.
Okay, so if that's the main bottleneck, then I'm curious. So you managed to get that one viral, but if the channel is still existing and the audience, the core audience is still Fortnite, why wouldn't that work right now? Because there's not that many Fortnite documentary channels.
It's true, but the main thing is the RPM isn't that great.
What is the RPM in Fortnite?
I would say like $3 to $4.
Yeah, okay.
So
a little bit low.
You're very, and I mean, like, competitors have taken my spot at this point. There's some very good documentary channels going right now. And I've kind of switched to a more general documentary audience with Mr. Beast documentaries and General Downfall. So I did switch
the
well.
Downfall of Ryan and
exactly.
That kind of stuff.
So I switched well, but I've built it the wrong way. So editors charge me too much now, and if I go too low and hire a new person, for example, people will notice that the quality is very bad. I either have to train someone or hire someone very expensive. The script writers can't replicate my style, so I'm gonna have to either train someone or also hire someone expensive. And the ROI just isn't there, and that's the main problem with the whole celebrity niche. It's very saturated, so your ideation needs to be top notch.
Yes, I agree.
And if you want to compete with people on quality, like Ryan Pictures, for example, like, they have massive budgets. Internet Anarchist spends like $1,000 per video, right? So if you're starting out there, the ROI is basically non-existent, and you already need to have some sort of authority and a good team in place to kind of build that into a profitable thing. Yeah,
that's very interesting you say that, because we actually have one of our students, Fricks. He actually managed to blow up in that niche with the videos of $85 a piece. So there's indeed, like, you need to have the ideation correct. And the reason that's so important in such a niche, it's not applicable for every niche. Like, I also have slime videos and satisfying videos. Like, fuck ideation. I do the same topic 365 times a year, and that's it. And then I'll just change 2025 to 2026 next year, and then I'm done. So I don't have to do that. But for him, 99% of his traffic came from one single video.
Exactly.
That video died, the channel died.
And
that's it. But eventually you can get that momentum, and you know which kind of titles hit and which don't hit. And the big mistake is people, when they start with YouTube animation, they copy something. But great people don't copy, they steal efficiently. So you take almost the exact same title, you just give it a small little spin.
Yeah.
You just do just a little bit more psychology into it. We had one like yesterday or 2 days ago, and I actually messaged the coach, and I said like, I kind of want to reply to this one, but I cannot because it would be very unprofessional. And it was like, the only thing I could say is that the thumbnail will have the little text, "Can I feel your dot 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 dot?"
Yeah, I know them.
Yeah, so exactly that one, in also the famous niche, and I was like, because I changed that, it's like such more psychology, and you don't use the word dick, because that way you can get like community guideline strike, or it can get like maybe not blow up all the way. But if it's like, can I feel it, and you see a girl leaning over, then you're like, hey, I know what's going on here, because everyone has an imagination.
Yeah.
I was like, yeah, that's definitely one part that works. So it's like, that's the things that people have to turn into. And yeah, like internet anarchists, it's like what they do very well, in my opinion, is that there's always something moving.
Absolutely, yeah.
When people get started, they don't look at the minor details. It's like, if you look at an internet anarchist video, at one point, there's always 3 things moving at once. But they're very slightly. But because it's moving, you're not losing attention. Because if you look at an image, what do you do on Instagram when you see an image? Swipe, 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 swipe. And then done.
Yeah.
But if it's no image, but it's moving, then you watch for longer. Like the same time, like people spend time on carousels and on reels. Same psychology. So I think that's very interesting. And I think like with the Fortnite one and with documentaries, there's a lot of opportunity. But yeah, it's like, what is going to be your ROI, and what are all of the revenue sources you can get? And I think that's a very important one, because in every Fortnite documentary video, let's say they're 20 minutes, I think one, you can do a good brand deal with like a reasonable CPM once you get like a floor.
Yeah.
For the people that don't know, a floor, or you can explain that.
A view floor, you mean, right?
Yeah, a view floor.
Yeah, so as soon as you hit like consistent returning viewer basis of like, for example, 100,000 views, let's say you never go below that again, apart from maybe one video that you completely flopped, right? But sponsorships don't really care about that. As long as you hit like a consistent view floor, because I get a ton of questions, and also partners I work with that got like 1 million views per video, but only had 10,000 subscribers. Sponsorships don't really care about the numbers, right? They want to see consistency, either in your branding and subscribers, or in your views. So if you get 1 million views on one video and 10,000 on the other, they're not going to sponsor you, because they don't want to be that 10,000 viewed video. So if you have that consistency, which is that view floor, that is when sponsorships will find you attractive. And they're still kind of old school. So if they see high subscriber number, they like you. If they see 10,000, like you're new to the game. No. Yeah, I'm not too sure. Yeah.
Unless you get like a really good agency and you're like, hey, listen, this is blowing up and this works. Like I barely have any sponsor deals. Like my 95% of my revenue comes from AdSense. But I had the same ones on oddly satisfying videos where I was getting like 100,000 to 300,000 views every video consistently. And then NordVPN came and they're like, hey, listen, we can just give you $1,500 per video if you just mentioned it in the first 45 seconds. I was like, it's not related to my niche, but that's so much money that I don't care. Like if I can do that for 30 videos, I make a shitload of money, and that's fine with me. But then you see like how that works, and also like helping people also with branded channels. It's like once you get that 100K views, that's also the example I wanted to give. It's like if you get a $10 CPM, you know that once you get a sponsor deal, you're going to make at least $1,000. So now you can spend $1,000 on your video, which means a very expensive script writer, good voiceover, a really good editor, like you said, like internet anarchist. Like if the sponsor deal already pays for that, that means that all the AdSense money is yours. And then the good thing with like Fortnite and some other sources of revenue is that the Fortnite creator code could also add in a lot of extra revenue.
Absolutely.
Like how much did you make from the Fortnite creator code?
So I didn't really push it that much, which is also a problem. Like I just wasn't business minded, right? I was just like an artist, a creator, and that is a big mistake a lot of people make. But even then, I think I made like 20, 30K in 1 year from creator code, which might not seem as much.
It's a full-time salary.
That's affiliate. Like you're not doing anything for it. You're just saying, use my code. That's it. That's it. And you're making like an extra 30K per year. So yeah, that's a cheat code. And especially now with those maps where they pay people for like players playing on your map, for example, and famous content creators are now creating maps for those people. Like people are making millions of dollars with those UEFN maps.
UEFN maps.
Yeah, something like that.
I have no idea what it is. Is it like the climbing ones they stream on TikTok and like YouTube Shorts the whole time?
So what I think it is, I could be wrong, but basically they started including Unreal Engine in the game, and then you could make better maps. And basically they have a new partner program now where if you build one of those maps and the amount of players that play on it, you get a cut, I think, of revenue for the amount of players that play on your map. So
That's
all of
insane.
these famous content creators are now building their maps, and the more people play on that, the more they push their fan base to play on it, the more they get. And then usually they have like a revenue split with the map creator. So there are some people who are very good at creating maps that are making millions of dollars per year.
Yeah,
like
that's
literally
insane.
life-changing money for creating maps. Yeah, it's
Mind-blowing.
insane. It's like the amount of like levels you can go deep in is insane for money-making methods on YouTube, right?
Yeah, and that's also what I always say to people. Like, people don't realize how much money there is available. Like, have you ever seen that clip of like when they compare KSI's bank account to that of Vicstar, and then Vicstar has to reveal like how much money he actually built with Minecraft.
With the Minecraft, yeah, I've seen
and
that.
it's like with Minecraft servers, you can make money, and it's like that dude just made millions.
Yeah,
Like, not since he has Prime, that's not a non-negotiable. Like,
He's-
KSI is way richer than
yeah,
Vicstar is. But before he had Prime, Vicstar was way richer than KSI was, just because of those unknown revenue sources.
true.
And people also forget, like, even if channels are inactive or they don't seem to make as much, like, you never know where revenue sources are coming from.
Exactly.
Like, I'm not going to say numbers, but one of my good friends, Quabblecob, or Jordi, he just told me that most of the money is coming from Snapchat.
Yeah,
Snapchat also pays a fuck ton of money.
if you do it right, yes.
If you do it right, 100%. Like, and if you're very, very popular, then you make even more. And like, if that's one of your revenue sources, like I know people on Snapchat personally that make like 2,500 a day, just posting 50 to 70 times a day. It's like 3 good morning selfies followed by 6 times breakfast, and then other bullshit stuff. Sometimes that I look at it and I'm like, why did I just look at someone else's day? Like, not even a vlog where everything's like in 10 minutes. No, like straight up, all pictures, like tick, 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 and you go through it so
And it's
fast.
always the most boring days as well. Like, it's never
Yeah.
anything interesting. They just do groceries, eat food, go to sleep.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, that's it.
But like, there's some fun creators. There's one girl that actually does OnlyFans. I don't watch her on OnlyFans. If people want to take things out of
I
context,
mean, if you know why.
if you know why, no. She was actually on Snapchat, and that's how I discovered her. And she was literally traveling the world and going through all the fancy hotels and stuff. So I was once curious, like, how does she actually make some money? And then, of course, you see the Snapchat bio, and it's like a link tree, and then, ta-da, you find the website, and you're like,
Surprise,
aha,
surprise.
that's how you get the money.
Yeah.
Because I was like, she posts like a little bit sneaky pictures, but not all the way.
If you already
Yeah.
see that, then you know.
Yeah, you
Yeah.
know, but she was too subtle with it. Where it's like, it wasn't too much shown, and it barely was visible. It was just such a luxury lifestyle
Yeah.
that I was so intrigued, like, how the fuck are you affording that? And then I started looking into her name, and she was just posting, I'm going to the 4 seasons here. And then the only thing which is like a little bit sexualized out of, she posted a lot, like 100, 150 stories a day. And it's like, out of the 150, there's like maybe 3 of them, which one is a bathroom pic in a bikini with her hands in front of it. So it's
Yeah.
like, you don't see anything. It's like someone who more looks like an actual creator. Like, if I would look as a brand on Snapchat, I would even give her a sponsor deal
Yeah.
without knowing she's actually like an 18 plus creator.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's
yeah.
like,
because she's not making it apparent. It's
she's
like
not
very
making
subtle.
it apparent, yeah. And that's with multiple people on Instagram and stuff as well. It's like, if you make it apparent, you don't get brand deals anymore. Like, that stuff goes away unless you have like Fashion Nova or something else. And people even forget, like, you can get huge brand deals on Instagram. Like, as a creator then. For Faceless, that's a lot harder.
Yeah.
But there's so many different sources of revenue for these big creators that people think they make X, Y, Z money, but they make way more money.
Yeah.
And I think that's a very interesting part. I was also watching one of Iman's videos recently, and it also talked about micro brands, where we were actually discussing this just prior to starting the recording, or actually in the beginning of the recording, but in Dutch. Is like, even if you have micro brands, but if it like dedicates a very good following, it is also worth so much more money. The same as like the channel, like as this recording, we have like 650 subscribers. It's not much, almost nothing at all, but yet it's probably my top earning channel that I have.
Yeah.
Why? Because it's long format content with a very specific audience. And that's worth so much more than posting Fortnite videos.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that's why I also, in my coaching, started going more towards the branded channels and more like back-end offers with Faceless and the different types of way to monetize. Because, of course, it's not pretty. Like, the best marketing is showing 20K months in like the ad revenue YouTube Studio, right? That's what people love.
Yeah.
That's what gets the 1,000 likes. But
Yep.
what doesn't get the 1,000 likes is if you show them, listen, I get 1,000 views per video, but in the back end,
I'm making XYZ money.
I'm making XYZ money. But because it's not in something they're familiar with, like YouTube Studio, they don't care about it. But I feel like there is a massive world out there, and plenty of monetization opportunities to go after that aren't as pretty as making 1 million views per video, for example.
Exactly. So you started working more on branded channels, and you're known for ideation and creating popular topics. What is the number one thing what creates or makes a popular topic? How do you go over that process?
So I operate a lot from data points. I have a very sophisticated validation system. I go off a lot of gut feeling as well, and I use a lot of outlier theory. So outlier theory is basically looking at outliers in all types of niches. Outliers are basically videos that are outperforming above the channel subscriber count or the last 6 videos, for example, right? That shows you like that's a positive data point that a video is way more interesting to that audience and newer audiences than their previous content. And for me, it's just like a matter of stacking positive data points and stacking negative data points, and then just seeing like, what's the context here? Like, is this an actual good idea to transfer over to our niche, for example? And we're basically like, discussing and thinking for a long time about, okay, do the positives outweigh the negatives, and does it apply to us? It's just very like detailed and research intensive, basically. While most YouTube automation people or channels have more like a shotgun approach. They just keep firing away and hope something lands, and then as soon as something lands, they double down. I like more of a sniper approach where I look at the outliers that do well, and then I double down on that one thing, and that's how I like sometimes blow up channels with one video, because there's like 2 months of research beforehand, and then the first video blows up, and then we double down on that.
Yeah, 100%. And I think you see the same with like high quality shorts.
Yeah.
That's also becoming bigger and bigger and bigger. Also, since the 3-minute ones are rolling out, I even see like 5-second, 10-second ads now in like the high quality animation stuff. Where I'm like, oh, okay, that's even interesting as well, because they also get a floor at one point. And indeed, like the two things you mostly look at are the outlier scores, which I assume you use vidIQ for.
Not necessarily. I think right now, like I like to use 1 of 10 the most, purely because it's like I'm biased and I've used it for a long time.
Yeah.
But when I'm looking at homepage, for example, because 1 of 10 doesn't give that, or in the search, that's when I usually just use next left, because I don't like to have 5 or 6 extensions open at the same time, because there's like 5 outlier scores and bars all over the place. It makes me go crazy. So I just stick with next left, because there's more additions to that help me than vidIQ.
Yeah, I agree. I agree that NextLive has surpassed vidIQ in not only availability, but also in the amount of things it has.
Yeah.
So I think they have done very well on that end. Some data points in NextLive are wrong, however, like the views per hour, they're not correct. vidIQ is more accurate in that one. Yeah. So I use vidIQ and NextLive. 1 of 10, for sure, the outlier score, and like finding also per topic is very useful. Yeah. I like that as well. And a process which I actually learned mostly from one of your good friends, or actually your business partner, Leroy, is close versus far niching. Like I've looked at it in that way. I've never given it a term, but can you explain what close versus far niching is?
Yeah, so obviously Leroy and me have built a course together. We've done coaching together. So yeah, we kind of combined our brains and made terms for everything, right? And close and far niche transferring is actually one of my favorite things. So I like to stay more in the close niche transferring, especially with Faceless channels. I also like to call it adjacent niches. So how I see it, for an example, like Out of Bounds, a basketball channel I started with a partner and a friend of mine, is, okay, the main core is basketball, right? But what are close niches that we can take inspiration from? Because when you look at competitors, most of them are in their own bubble, and they just look at their own competitors. They look at basketball and they're they keep chasing their own tail. They're never really innovating or looking at formats that they could transfer over to the niche. So what I like to do is, okay, basketball is the core. What could be adjacent to that? What values does our audience share with other audiences, for example? And that's when you look at, okay, basketball is a sport. Which other sports could we look at? That's when I'm looking at football, golf, not necessarily golf, but
Yeah,
you know what I mean. Like,
I tried the golf niche, but that's one fucking.
I've tried it as well. It's very difficult.
Holy shit! It's just the volume is actually so low.
Yeah, there's
Like
almost no
my top video got like
competition.
50,000 views, and I was like, I'm spending like $300 per video. It's like, this is not working out. Like
No.
I need 50,000 views per video minimum, and it's too low because I'm not even getting brand deals.
Even the RPM doesn't make that right, because the RPM is pretty good, but
Yeah, it's like
the
6-7.
volume is just not there yet, I think, right? Like it will get there, I think so, in the future.
Yeah, maybe because it's getting more popular. We have a new president now who plays golf all the time.
Exactly,
And
yeah.
stuff, and normally those kind of things do help. Also with the granddaughter Kai Trump, also posting like vlogs. Her channel is also labeled as lifestyle and golf, so you get more and more introductions to that. And
Yeah, and also like Bryson DeChambeau has like 1 million subscribers. There's a ton of views on his videos. The Sideman even started a golf channel now, so like
Oh, really? I haven't
more and
seen
more
that.
people are getting introduced to it. You have Top Golf, which you love playing, and Harris as well.
here in Dubai,
Yeah.
Oh, it's going so much better now. Last time I hit it like 3 times in a row into the white one, and I felt so good.
I've never played it, so I have to try it here.
We have to go there.
Yeah, of course. But yeah, sorry, to get back to the whole close and far niche transferring, we're kind of sidestepping here. So golf is the best example, but football, any other team sport like NFL, NHL, right?
Yeah.
That's what I like to look at, and then seeing, okay, who are the biggest channels here? Are there any series I can take? And that's how I actually got to the format I introduced on Out of Bounds, which was very big contrast titles, like how the shortest NBA player ever destroyed everyone, how an NBA player who only used one hand destroyed everyone. So trying to make that contrast as big as possible. And that started out by just taking the most popular videos from Daily Dose of Football, which was in the football niche, finding those, trying to see like which of these topics could we fit into our niche. So like, okay, there's a player who only used one foot in football. We can change that into hand. That still makes sense.
Yeah.
So that way we kind of took the most popular videos from that football channel, introduced it into the NBA niche, and it just absolutely exploded because we were first movers. We were getting 1 million views per video, and we literally like fucking revolutionized the whole format in every sport, because all of a sudden then we got copycats not only in the NBA. Existing competitors started doing it. We were getting competitors doing it in the NFL, NHL, golf. It started spreading everywhere. And that's the beautiful thing of like a popular series, because people will see it, but if you're the first mover and you keep milking it, then you will always stay relevant with that. And that's what Daily Dose did as well. He was the first one to do it in football. He doubled down on it, and now he has like a 500,000 subscribers with a crazy view floor.
Yeah, and that gives you the brand deals, and now you have what we call a very successful YouTube automation channel.
Exactly. Yeah.
And may I ask, what is the production cost of such videos?
So my partner Andrew is running into the same issues now. He's an artist and a creator like I was. So he still did everything himself, and that was our unfair advantage at the beginning. Yeah. He was a basketball coach. He already had a YouTube channel which didn't really do well, so I taught him how to properly storytell.
I remember this story.
I taught him how to properly storytell. He did the editing. He improved that himself by just watching a ton of tutorials, and I taught him how to do a good voiceover. And that's how we kind of like established that channel. That's how we could make the videos longer as well, because most automation people don't want to really tap into the long videos, because that is a lot of production cost and introduces a lot of risk. Yeah. We didn't have that risk, so we could make the videos longer, automatically out-competing other people who try to beat us. Yeah. And from there, like, he had such a solid base that now we can finally outsource. And I pushed him like, listen, once a month worked for the beginning, twice a month worked for the beginning, because we're making long videos. We can kind of like ideate a lot, but now we should really push to 4 times a month, maximize that volume, maximize revenue, because that's how you scale to 20K months. You're not doing it with amazing ideas once a month. It could happen with the right sponsorships, and if you're James Jenny, for example, that gets 5 million views or 10 million views per video. But here it's just a volume game, and if you ever want to scale to those multiple 5 figures, that's when you really have to put in the volume, and that's one thing that we're going to work on right now. is taking that existing audience and just going the volume game.
Yeah, and I think that's a very interesting part as well. But it also shows you when people are motivated and dedicated,
Yeah.
that even if you have experience, and we always say to people as well, is like, we even have a video of that, and that's like passion versus profits. Like, you're passionate about something, but at one point, is your goal to be passionate about it and just keep it in one momentum and, I don't know, earning $6,000 or maybe even $10,000 a month? But then it's becoming a high-paying job.
Yeah,
It's not becoming a huge automation business.
exactly.
Like, you need to start outsourcing it and starting to increase volume. And then maybe if he, as a basketball coach, knows someone who's very good at soccer, you can redo the entire thing in a different niche and just be like, hey, I'm a basketball coach. My friend here, Matt, I don't know, it's saying a random name, is a soccer coach. Let's go ahead and build XYZ here. And then you're like, hey, this is your fixed fee. I don't know, let's say with sponsor deals, you get it to $20,000 a month. Then you use $2,000 a month of that, or maybe $2,500 a month of that, just for the other coach to find all the relevant things and just give as much information to the team. And then you get the really high quality videos, and you're going to beat an unbeatable market over and over and over again, sport by sport by sport.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So I'm doing something similar right now, but then with partners.
Yeah.
So Andrew doesn't really have those connections, but I'm working with someone in football. I worked with someone in, we tried starting NHL, but recently the whole NHL just started bombarding channels and just like manually copyright striking people. So that's kind of out of the plan for now. But yeah, you can transfer it anywhere with the right people. But like you said, like the main pitfall of many of these creators and passionate people is that they don't outsource. They don't have that business mindset.
Yeah.
And that's really like the model I'm going for with the coaching as well. I'm taking passionate people like me in the past with unfair advantages that they can utilize, either a passion or a hobby or skills they have. And then I like to transform them into branded empires, right? Like, because you kind of need that passion to create such a big empire or become a first mover or create a high quality channel. The thing that most of these people lack that do have the ability and the skill and the passion to make something like that is that business mindset. So I like to take these people, introduce them to my YouTube knowledge, introduce them to the mistakes I made and doing it better this time, like building a proper system.
Yeah.
And then turning these very very highly skilled people into YouTube brands, so to say, because all of these people have so much potential, and I think they could easily beat anyone who's very business minded in YouTube automation and purely goes for profit and just spamming channels. Those are very profitable if you're at the top, right? Like someone like you can make hundreds of thousands of dollars per month, which is also possible for people that go through coaching programs, of course. But I think there's an untapped market of very passionate creators, very skillful people that just don't know how to properly monetize or don't know how to properly reach wider audiences, even though they are arguably more skilled than some business people entering the YouTube space, right?
Yeah, I agree. For me, my unfair advantage is understanding the business very, very well and being able to run the volume game. We recently had a meetup here with about 12 people doing YouTube automation, some students. We actually had 2 students also doing over 100K a month that were also here. And we were like, hey, listen, what is the difference between them and between me? Why am I able to still like outskill and outgrow most of them? Like, what is that? And my unfair advantage in that is that I can run so much volume compared to these other people. We, on average, right now, I want you to take a guess. How many videos do you think we produce a month?
I would say 400.
Way more.
1,000.
Yeah, about.
Does it include shorts or purely long form?
Purely long form.
That is crazy.
Yeah,
that is
1,000
crazy.
to 1,200 long format videos every single month.
Yeah.
And that's the reason why you remember we had that little discussion on Twitter actually, where it's like with YouTube automation compared to branded channels and stuff. And it's like you have all these YouTube gurus on Twitter like posting like the screenshots of the highs but never of the lows. And like you cannot post a win every single day.
Yeah.
And I just replied for the fun, but I can.
No. The thing is like the context was different because I called out people because I do know some people who just have one channel and they recycle they make a carousel of different revenue numbers to make it seem like it's from 4 different channels, but you can backtrack it to the channel and it's like the same channel, right? That's something I hate because like just be honest, just show them one result, just say like, oh yeah, we made another 20K this month, or yeah, we did another 1 million views on this video. People won't mind because they still respect that. You don't have to fake
No,
being
you
more
have
successful
faked
than you are.
consistently fake like how successful you are. I agree. Maybe I was wrong in the context as well in that regards. But if you do that, just post a screenshot of your last 6 months. Like
Yeah.
I have massive amounts of respect if people pull up their last 6 months and just like 20,000 a month every month consistently. Then I'm like, you got an amazing system here. Yeah, now you just need to duplicate it.
Yeah.
You need to outsource, hire new people, and do that again. Like if that's everything you have and you have so consistency, that's a good moment to start working on the second one and on the third one. And that's the lucky part for me. I have my production. I always have like a pinned post in Slack where I make a Loom video that ranges from 5 minutes, sometimes all the way up to 50 minutes, explaining everything in the entire niche. I have all the competitors, I have all the views, all the revenue numbers. If I know the channels or not, then I can put exact revenue numbers in there as well. Then I'm like, I want this example. I want this to be done with this thumbnail style. This is an example. This is an example of what I want. Everything, one single message. What do we do after? The channel goes live. In the beginning, mistake, correct, mistake, correct. And then eventually it's like all good. And the moment it's all good, I leave the Slack chat. And that's how I can outsource it.
But that's the thing, right? Because that was also my point where a lot of people get sucked into the marketing and think everyone can do it. And they get sold in sales calls on that.
Yeah.
But the thing is, like, I've made a tweet about this before. You have systems like that.
Yeah.
And you can do volume. And people think, oh, I should do the same. I should create like 10 channels and go the volume game.
Absolutely
but they're
not.
never going to compete with someone like you or Noah Morris, for example, right?
Yeah.
So I keep telling people, if you want to go the automation route, look at what people like you are doing, pick their best channels or pick their best niches, and just go all in on that and try to outcompete them. Because you have good systems in place, but someone who will go all in on a niche that you're in will probably outcompete you if they do the right things, right? And that's a risk you're willing to take because you are so diversified, so you don't care. But for these newer people, it is way better to focus on one niche and one channel to outcompete you than to try to outcompete you in systems because you have
you can't do
10
that.
years plus of experience. You're not going to outcompete that.
Yeah, no, I agree. But it's also a reason like we in the Netherlands had 2 other coaches in the industry, and they both promoted that you start 5 channels and you post 10 videos of 4 minutes on each channel. And I was like, that's the biggest joke of a technique I've ever heard. And I was like, that's not how you play the game. You play the game by going high quality in a niche that's easy to win by doing good research. If you find a niche that gets, let's say, over 1 million views and only started 3 months ago, what is the opportunity of you succeeding within 3 months? It's ridiculously high. Yeah. Even if you get, I don't know, 30% of it. Let's say you get 300,000 views a month, but the RPM is 10. You're going to make $3,000 a month, even if you only get 30% of their market. And that's what we had with Milou and Brian, which I interviewed in the Netherlands. It's like, nobody's doing these topics for Christmas. I gave them 20 topics. In literally 30-minute call, we managed to next month go from 3,000 a month to 6,000 a month.
Insane.
And it's just like, it's not even, in this case, systems. It's just, like you said, topic research. Yeah. And I did the same for my quiz videos. I was like, it's Christmas time. I was the only one that posted a 1 hour long Christmas video. Guess what? That video made me 17 grand.
Insane.
Fucking simple. And it was literally 2 videos that we took from 2 old videos with 20 minutes of new content pasted next to each other. And now we generated a 60-minute video.
Insane.
And
absolutely insane.
Yeah, the average view duration was 22 minutes. So normally the quiz videos are 20 minutes. So how are you going to compete me with watch time if my watch time is longer than your whole entire video?
Exactly.
You can't.
No, it's impossible.
That's the idea. That's also why I say, like, also look if you can make videos longer, but you also don't want to make too long. As an example, in the YouTube drama niche, like the maximum time gap you can really go to is like 35 to 45 minutes. After that, it normally starts to get boring. Yeah. And it's no longer entertainment. I think that's the max. So some niches have a max. But storytelling, I can make bedtime storytelling videos for 12 hours.
Absolutely.
So yeah, then eventually time doesn't matter. Normally after 3 hours, between 3, 8, and 12 and 24 hours, there's no difference anymore in average view duration.
No. Also RPM kind of like flatlines at one point.
Yeah, flatlines normally around 18 for most of those niches.
But it's also like, you can still start multiple channels, but what I would do is like you said, start high quality, start getting revenue from that, outsource as soon as possible while you are doing things yourself, write SOPs, record SOPs already. So as soon as you make money and you can invest, you can just put those SOPs to them, maybe give them a call, a little bit of extra context. You can run it separately. You still do the ideation, of course.
Yeah.
But now, boom, you're like free for the rest of the week. And now you can think of starting a new channel.
Exactly.
If you don't have all those components in place, don't even start a new channel, because as soon as you start that new channel, that last channel is going down in revenue.
Yeah.
And then you're back at the same point, right?
Yeah.
But that, yeah, I just love, I'm not like, I'm very heavily into branded channels and high quality and stuff. But you will never see me hating on automation or shorts, because they're such valuable like cash flow models as well. Like,
yeah, and they're simple.
Like, I could go all in on marketing, like branded channels is the wave. Like, why do this? Why? But everything works. It's just like whatever fits you best.
Yeah.
If you are more creative, if you do have that itch, like I just want to create something I'm passionate about, then go for branded channels. Like, make it a business. Don't go the creator route. Never go the creator route. I wouldn't personally do that unless you show your face and you really want to become like the next Eric or Ali Abdal, for example. Yeah. But then be prepared for a long run with almost no money. If you have that passion, go for a branded channel. But if you are very good at business, if you're very good at just managing people and going the volume gain, and you don't really have that creativity or a lot of skills, but you still have that business mindset and a lot of work ethic, go automation. If you have almost no experience and you just want to create short videos, go shorts. Like, I see students of Daniel Bitten printing 7K, 10K a month. I see you printing a lot of money with it. And it's not that difficult to get into, right? So there's so many different models you can get into. I'm just a big advocate for YouTube in general. Yeah. And I don't care what model you choose. YouTube is, for me, like one of the best models right now. Almost no initial risk. You don't have to spend a lot of money up front. You don't have to do a lot of work once it's outsourced. You don't have to learn sales and setting and all that stuff, like finance and whatever. Like, right? Like, it can be very simple. It can be very simple
to go to a high level. And I think that what you say is really interesting, because I always ask people a very important question once they want to scale. It's like, how much money for you, and this is also a personal question to you, is enough money? How much do you need to make per month to not stress about anything?
For me personally?
Yeah.
I mean, to not stress, I would say like 30, 40K.
Yeah.
But for me, it's never enough. But that's because I have an entrepreneurial mindset, and that's why I'm coaching, because coaches often get labeled as grifters, but I feel like that is because they don't get results, or they have very hefty marketing schemes that are a little bit pushy, right? Yeah. But I feel like if you're a proper coach and you get results for people, why not do it, right? Like, most of these people are not qualified to be coaches, because it is also a skill to teach people. It's also a skill to get people results, and you need to go all in. It's not like a side project you can do to get some extra cash flow in. That's how you build a bad reputation. But if you properly do it, the ROI is just better than YouTube channels, in my opinion, because like coaching, you can infinitely scale, and there's almost no bottlenecks, there's no upfront risk. So why would I not do it, right? Like, why would I not utilize the teaching skill and my experience with growing people? Yeah. Because it is just a better model. Like, I'm just playing the game, man. I'm not a grifter, but I'm just playing the game, and people see that. Like, these grifters see that because it is a better model. Yeah. But I, at least, like, and you as well, do it respectfully, where we have morals, so we are pushing for the best results possible. I could have started a coaching program a year ago. Like, I could have started the Out of Bounds channel, got 1 million views, started a program, grifted everyone, stole everyone's money, disappeared into the sunset, right? Yeah. But I took a whole year to experiment more with people, not take full coaching prices. Like, Out of Bounds, I charged 500 per month, just to get that experience in, just to see what does it take for a beginner to get to the next level. How can I improve here? How can I improve my public speaking? How can I improve my teachings? Yeah. How can I improve my blueprint? And now that I feel like, okay, I can replicate it, that's when I'm going into a coaching program.
No, I 100% agree. Unfortunately, there are a lot of grifters. There's a lot of people that get one success story. Like, that would have been an amazing case study. You put the case study right in front of your main page. It's like, hey, I helped this channel blow up to 500K subscribers in under, 6 months, 12 months, and make XYZ money in the process. And then be like, hey, I'm an expert. Okay, you've done it once. Now do it again. Yeah. And do it again. Yeah. Like, for me, the reason that I can give myself a label of being an expert is because I've made far over 6, probably closer to 7 now, $1 million with YouTube. Mm-hmm. Yeah, then you have either you got extremely lucky, or you just have systems in place.
Yeah.
In this case, I have systems in place, and I've managed to replicate it not only for me, but for friends, and like all the way back since 2016. It's really funny. Last night, actually, one of the 44 people that knew about the unlisted method back in 2016 actually texted me, like, because I'm doing an event in the Netherlands, like, oh my God, I want to be there, blah, 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 and had a little chit chat, and he's coming as well. And I'm like, that's really cool, because now I have like really old people that even got into the space, and it's like also nice to catch up, see them again. But you see, like, my experience, that's 2016, that's 9 years ago.
Yeah.
And those people got success because of me in those niches, like instant karma, instant justice, and they had some other niches. So that was really cool. In that regards as well, it's like people think that coaching is a scam, but people have to remember that coaching is also a company.
Yeah.
And with all the companies, it also takes a lot of money to invest.
Exactly.
And it's also, I think personally, not something you're going to do forever.
No.
I think I'll probably do this for another 5 to 10 years. After that, I would probably prefer to disappear on the face of the earth and just have a family and live a good life. Like, as my kids are 3 and 4 years old in the future, then, you know, that's not a problem because they're small, and it's either, but once they're bigger, like almost 10 years old, I don't see myself making videos when I'm 40. Sorry, I don't.
No.
I'm 25 now. What my goal is when I'm 40 to be worth $100 million. That's my plan. That's what I focus on. And a majority of that, and Julian Petrolius, if I say that correctly.
Yeah, I love that guy.
Yeah, same. Very clever guy. I actually met him in the gym on the shortcut in Bali. And the thing as well is that eventually money starts working for you. If you look at his Twitter, like his casual day is like 1 million up or 1 million down. It's fucking mind-blowing. I'm like, that's literally as much money that I made in the first 6 months of this year with YouTube automation. I'm like, you have that in every single fucking day on your screen. Like, how?
Absolutely.
And I'm like, okay, that's mad respect. I know he's owner of the Penny Lane restaurant in Bali, which makes mad money. But also when I go there and I see how it's being run, and if I go there in the morning, it's full. If I go there in the afternoon, it's full. If I go there in the evening, it's full. And then you see, like, it's a company. People have to understand that, hey, it's also a business model right now. I've done over 140 hours here. It's 88 euros an hour here. Yeah. So that's already almost 10 grand purely spent on recording stuff. People don't see how much cost goes into stuff. Like you said, public speaking. I had speaking lessons. My speaking lessons were $180 an hour. Didn't do many. I did like 6 or 7, but that's 1 grand done. And you keep getting those same things added on, added on, added on. Same for the event that I'm hosting in the Netherlands. It's 2,600 for the location. It's 600 for the little pants that I have with my own branding on it. Yeah. And then 250 for the books. And then it's like, you have all those small little details just because you want to build a brand and build something long term. Like in total, that event is costing me like 6-7 grand. And then it's like, and it's only for 30 people. So you see the cost, like I'm making a loss on that. But then the thing is, you're doing that for long-term branding. And it's like, it's a business and people have to understand that you have some people that just promote it once and they don't really do anything with it anymore. And for us, the goal is to have that consistency. We get 4 new reviews. I make a little tweet about it. Hey, we just got 4 new reviews. Or hey, this is Isa's story. Isa went from 0 to 10K in 90 days by using AI channels. And everything is possible, like you said as well. You have to respect the hustle. You know, you have these days not even 16-year-old kids like Daniel Bitten. You have even like 14 or 13-year-olds like making money with YouTube Shorts. Yeah, it's like if they can make money on YouTube Shorts and already start saving money at that early age and start investing. Like normally people start at like 25. Yeah, you have 12 years on them. It's like if you do that consistently and you just work on it, you're gonna have such an enjoyment of life when you're a little bit older because you can't travel when you're 13. No. Or go to Spain when you're 15. Like you need like written permission from your parents to go to fly to the restaurants for everything. Like I've done it because I went to Barcelona when I was 16. I needed like a written signature to go into the hotel because otherwise I was not allowed. And it's like those moments and those stories when you blow up, it's just probably the most fun as well. I think that's also a very good personal question for you is what was the most fun you ever had with YouTube?
I think the dopamine for me is when you finally have a breakthrough. And that's why I love coaching so much because I can have that dopamine every single time. So for me, like that feeling of being like rock bottom and then having that 1 million viewed video, like I could cry tears of joy. That is how good it felt. I remember like when I got my most popular video ever, what happened to Mr. Beast giveaway winners? They got like 4 million views.
Yeah, I've seen that one.
Yeah. I talked about this on the 1 of 10 podcast, but I was sitting on the toilet. I refreshed my YouTube studio, saw 200K in 4 hours. I just ran into the living room with my girlfriend and my parents. I'm like, it's fucking exploding. It's happening. Like those moments are the best. And I remember like the first ever time I went viral, the first video that got 4 million views on my channel that started everything. I was sitting, I think the whole night from 1 a.m. until like 7 a.m. just refreshing analytics. I'm like, this was the plan. I knew this was going to happen. Yeah. I'm just following what I planned out, right? And that's what I love with the coaching right now is with Out of Bounds as well. We did research for 2 months. We found the perfect topic. We packaged it perfectly. We uploaded, and after 3 days, it goes viral. I'm like, everything went according to plan, and that dopamine hits again. And that's what I like about YouTube. It's just like, even when it takes 6 months for a channel to blow up, as soon as it does, there's no better feeling in the world.
Yep, I agree. We had a new concept as well in the ASMR niche, and we went from 6,000 to 20,000 a month in 3 months. And it's like, it felt so good to get that as a hit because it felt so stagnant. Yeah. It was always the same. And then just having that breakthrough is like, finally, like a big amount of money coming in. And eventually you look at it as like a business perspective. Like I look at revenue. I don't look at the views or the video specifically or check all the videos because I have systems for that. I don't have to check that. It goes to the office manager. After the office manager, I have a general manager, and after general manager, it hits me. So I don't have to deal with the day-to-day process. I don't have to check every single thumbnail. They just know, like you said as well, with your SOPs, when you're making those example videos or you're doing those calls, that's where you're teaching them. Yeah. If there's things I need to do, I do them directly on the call because otherwise I forget about them. Same. So it's like, if you need me to do certain things, ask me to hop on a call, note 3-4 things down, let's get them done, have a good day, and done. And that for me works amazingly. I will, after this podcast, I will also show you my systems, how it looks like from the back end. Oh, that would be amazing, yeah. I think that would be a very interesting look. Yeah, that's pretty much that. Then I'm also wondering, and very curious to your thought process in that, is like, what are the most common mistakes that people are making?
I think the most common mistake is what we've discussed before. It's just not doing enough ideation. It's just like a lot of people just don't properly know how to do research. And a lot of people just don't properly check, like quality check scripts or editing or voiceovers, whatever, right? Yeah. Like the main problem I have with clients is that usually they check it because I want them to check it. I want them to learn. And they miss obvious mistakes. For example, if the voiceover says, I know Lionel Messi as like Lionel Messi, for example. Yeah. Something like that you have to spot. If you leave that in and that goes into the video, you're going to get roasted by football fans, right? Yeah. If you want to build a brand, if you want to build a high quality channel, you need to make sure that you quality check everything. Leave almost no mistakes in. Of course, there can be some little mistakes. No one cares about that. But make sure that you're not making major mistakes that will leave people thinking, because right now, even Out of Bounds get accused of AI all the time. Because AI is taking over YouTube so much. Every branded channel I start is always like, this is AI slop, even though everything is like made by freelancers or even a person itself. Yeah. So like people are so skeptical that if you make mistakes, they're gonna label you as another AI content farm. Not gonna connect with this person because if you like audiences of branded channels really want to connect to someone.
Yeah, to the voice.
Yeah, to the voice or to the personality or even like the storyteller, right? So if you make mistakes, that is a massive problem. Also, like I said, ideation, man. Like people just think, I should take this outlier, small twist, that should be good. No, you need to have a validation system. You need to know the full context. If there's a name in the title, what was the total addressable market of that keyword, right? Like start searching on YouTube. Did other people also have success with that name, with that keyword? Was there perhaps at that time a trend around that name? Yeah. Did that influence the views? Was it maybe that person suddenly went popular on Twitter, for example, right?
Yeah. Diddy, Donald Trump.
Yeah, exactly.
Melanie Trump now.
Yeah, exactly. So if you see like outliers in the Diddy niche right now, and you think, I should make that, then you're missing the context of back then it was popular, now it isn't anymore. Yeah, exactly. And that's the full context you need to have. Also, like competitors, what are they doing? Do they have videos that flopped? If they flopped, what was the reason? Can we improve that? Was it something they did wrong? Or was it because the topic, once again, is not interesting enough anymore, right?
Yeah.
Those are all the types of things you need to look at. And I have a very, very complicated, sophisticated system, so I can't explain it in one podcast, because I can't even think of it from the top of my mind, because I have to read it from the list.
No, that makes sense.
But yeah, I just like data. I just like proof. I don't like guessing.
Yeah,
I only like guessing when it's like, okay, I have a very good topic. There's 1 or 2 negative data points. Do we still continue with it? Then it's like, based on experience, gut feeling, fuck it, we'll push it through, or let's not do it.
Yeah, and I agree with that. And I also think that, I don't like guessing as well, for sure, not for students. I'm like, we have a system where if someone joins, they do the niche research process.
Yeah.
And in the niche research process, we have 3 things that you need to take into account. 1 is get a minimum of 1 million views in the last 28 days or last 30 days from vidIQ. Then number 2, it needs to be in a niche that pretty much hasn't started, or recent channels have seen success within 3 months. As an example, crime no longer qualifies for that.
No.
Bodycam no longer qualifies for that. For bodycam, then the thing is, I make a note and I say, bodycam, the only way of doing that is if you go ahead and find original clips. So you're going to go to the police, request the clips. That's the only way of getting success, because you're going to have unique stories that nobody else has. That's very good. And then number 3 is make sure that the channel, pretty much, if possible, has more views than it has subscribers, which means it is consistently in the algorithm.
Yeah.
If a channel has 50,000 subscribers and gets 150,000, 200,000 views per video, that's the perfect niche to get into.
Absolutely.
And I say, if you check all of these 3, you should be able to see success. Like you said as well, like when people say like, you can get success in XYZ time, it's always a scary thing to say, but you can get success with it within 90 days. Why? 2 others has also done that.
Yeah.
So you're taking away the guesswork. Like as an example, I wanted to pretty much play a fun game with myself. So I started going into the quiz niche. But if you know the quiz niche, it's like, you don't see success in 60, 70 videos. Sometimes even not in 100 or 150 videos. But what I've done, and I'm going to make a separate video on this, is I started Multilanguage brands.
The Italian channel.
Yeah, I leaked that yesterday.
I've seen it, yeah, I've seen it.
And I did it on purpose. I was like, I'm curious what people are going to say when the logo is just visible in the right top corner. Ape Quiz is it's called. It's the Italian channel. And that blew up. 7 videos. That's
Amazing.
it. And it's like, the reason I can post consistent screenshots and consistent results is I don't start 1 channel. No. If I can very easily brand it, I'm starting 12. We also have Dutch. So you know the name as well if you translate it. So we have Dutch, English. So I'm going to do it like this. We have Dutch. So 40 branded channels that we have in multi-language brands. We have Dutch, English, Japanese, Korean, German, Spanish, Italian, French, Swedish, Polish, Indonesian, and Arabic. Voila, all 12.
Insane.
So 12 channels for 1 channel.
Yeah, so you mentioned like there are branded channels, right? And I think like branded channels is such a buzzword nowadays.
Yeah, it is. It's like a high quality channel. We have the highest quality.
I get what you mean, right? But I kind of want to touch upon this point because I use the term branded channels to attract the people that know about it. Because that's the new hype, right? But I don't think evergreen channels are labeled as branded channels. I feel like branded channels are really like, for example, I'm working with What If, that has 9 million subscribers. They have a host, they have a great team, they have consistency, consistent view flow, a lot of sponsor deals. They are actually like a non-stop, for example, where you're thinking like, okay, this is actually a brand.
Yeah.
I think everyone is building towards a brand with evergreen channels, but a lot of people are saying like, oh, look at this branded channel I'm running while it's still an evergreen channel. It's not a brand yet. Yeah,
that's a very good touch point. Andrew actually posted about it yesterday, but I actually work with them personally. It's the Soul Publishing. It's the first $1 billion a year company based off solely the YouTube platform. They just acquired a large stake in MediaCube, which is a payment provider and YouTube multi-channel network. So that's a very interesting part as well, and it shows you how much money there is available on YouTube. And another brand that I did a review about was Valnet Inc. That's a major company, the richest, not What If, but it's a CBR is one of them as well. They have these large channels with also hosts and podcasts, and They are actually just as big as on YouTube as they are on Facebook, but also they have their own websites where they get a lot of web traffic from their YouTube channels.
Yeah.
And if you would really want to go into depth, like branded channel, yeah, you target a specific audience. That's why you have YouTube channel, you have branded channels, you have short channels, and you have search channels.
Yeah.
I think that's pretty much the 4 labels, and then you could say evergreen channels, which Quiz would be one of them.
Yeah, like I like to label it more as like evergreen, trending, branded, so to say. I think, but it all comes down to the same thing, right?
Yeah.
That's the main thing.
The goal is just to make money.
Yeah, the goal is to make money.
That's the business.
It's the same reason why I would never compete with anyone like you, because I don't have experience in volume and scaling and systems and stuff. So
But I do have to say, even my experience is not comparable to those of Vietnam.
yeah, of course, but yeah, of course there's levels to it.
Yeah.
But that's why I'm also saying to people who are leads of mine or who want to work with me, if you fit better with a person like you or Noah Morris or someone else, right?
Yeah.
I will say that. I will not try to extract as much money out of the community as possible if I can't really work with them, because you need to have a different vision for those branded channels. You need to have like, that's why I personally respect you, because yeah, you made a lot of money, but you're also making a lot of other people a lot of money.
Yeah.
So you're replicating it for yourself and for other people. Because I'm not going to sit here and tell you like, oh yeah, I also made millions of dollars. Like I'm rich, and I at most I think made roughly a little bit above $500,000 from Justical and some other channels, right?
That's still amazing. That's amazing results, and I appreciate the compliments.
Yeah, thank you, but it's nothing compared to the big guys, right? But I still have authority in the community because I'm out competing people by literally giving students better results and like having it as promotion, like look at this Out of Bounds channel.
Yeah.
And I'm able to do that for someone while not even having the biggest revenue numbers myself, because I am purely focusing on coaching and trying to get people results.
Yeah, and what's the reason you wanted to do coaching full-time and not do your own automation and branded channels?
The funny thing is, it was because I thought I can't outsource Justical, it's over, I should go into coaching because that's the next step. But now that I look back, I could have outsourced it, but now it's too late, right? So now I am partnering with people to make channels again, because I do still think it's a good model with branded. But partnering is kind of like the new wave, because I don't want to be in the trenches myself anymore.
I think that's very interesting, because I see you do it. I see Andrew is now investing $1 million.
Yeah.
I see Noah Morris is now trying to pretty much go to $1 million a month with partnering channels. What would be the benefit of partnering with channels, and what revenue share do you do with them? And can you explain like why this is the next wave and why people and coaches are partnering?
Yeah, so there's various levels, right? Because I know that Noah is kind of like doing a franchising thing, where he also funds people and then they take a larger equity share, but also that people that pay them and then they take a lower equity share, so to say. With branded channels, like I haven't started it yet, this program. First thing I did was, of course, start with friends and clients for $500 per month to grow my reputation. Now I'm in like the consulting space, so I just charge people retainer, no equity share whatsoever. But yeah, shout out to DVB or Dorian as well, because he kind of like introduced this model where he's taking, I think, 20% equity in channels and a consulting fee up front. And I saw that program, I thought it was very interesting, and I kind of adapted that as well. I kind of want to start that as well, but not have it be my sole thing, but kind of like a part of the funnel, right? Yeah. So I still think group coaching is something I really like as well, which I'm going to probably start this year as well. Nice. But then I think like I want my brands on the top, like build with people I actually really do like, I actually see a lot of potential in. I think I'm gonna take like 20% equity, maybe a little bit more or less, maybe less coaching fee. Yeah, like I was also thinking about maybe 40%, 30% upfront in the equity, and then less upfront, because I can show you like I'm very confident in our partnership, so that's why I'm taking more in the back end. But yeah, I personally think it's the wave, because it just reduces a lot of risk. First of all, you can also leverage someone else's skills. And you can have like a top-down view. You can manage it, and if you're sick, like Noah said, if you're sick, then there's also always a partner that can also run things with you, right?
Che.
Che, for example. I think it just reduces a lot of risk, and you can really scale that way, because Noah also said, as soon as I jump into a new channel, the other ones are going down, like I said before as well, right? Like systems, of course, but even then systems can break.
Yeah.
And with
Well,
partners,
systems only break if you don't have enough managers, and I think per XYZ channels you should have a manager.
Mhm.
So we have a manager per division. So we have a manager for like our slime stuff, a manager for our satisfying stuff, and then we have the overall general manager. So we have like a manager for ASMR, and that's like has slime, but also soaps, but also satisfying. It has all of these channels under one management. And then you have the AI division, and the AI division also now has an AI manager.
Mhm.
And you just keep going from that kind of things, and then there's an AI manager. So you have like junior editors, then you have senior editors, then you have niche-specific managers, then you have managers, then you have a general manager, and then you get to me.
Yeah.
So it's like a whole lift of 6 pretty much that connect. And what do they do? Well, first of all, the junior editors is like, we have so many of them, with all respect. I don't even know all of their names out of my head. Maybe I should, but right now it's like 35 people. It's getting a little bit too much. And for the freelancers, that's too much because it's going to go into the 100 plus. You have that as the base, and then it's like, okay, senior editors, just give them the commands and check stuff.
Mhm.
Then the senior editor only gets checked by the region, like the overall manager. Normally that's connected to each other. So for AI, the senior editor is also the AI manager. So they have a higher salary than they do. And then he reports to the office manager. The office manager puts it in the report so I can see, hey, how is this revenue doing? How much have we invested? What is our return on investment? And you have all of these things laid out, and then we have a good understanding. And then we can go to the next part.
Yeah, of course, I don't know Noah's systems, but I think he mainly did that because he doesn't have that sophisticated system like you have. Like, if you have a system like that, I could see it really doing well with scaling, right? But if you don't have that in place, then I feel like the franchisee model makes more sense. And of course, like, sorry, no, I can't talk about your business, but I'm assuming here, right? But let's say he doesn't have that system in place like you have, then franchisees just make more sense because, you need one connection point between that franchisee and you, for example, with quick support, and you will always be there to assist. But there's just less people in the system, so to say. It's just franchisees and partners. Even then, it's risky because, of course, like, what do you do if partnerships fail or
get scammed or
get scammed or all those stuff? Like there's a lot of legal stuff involved as well, which scares me too, which is why I'm still like exploring options, but I think this is the best option for now.
Yeah, that's a very good point. I'm just going to quickly go into, since we go into very advanced stuff for the more advanced people in this industry as well, is that I only do agreements if people are based even in America or Europe. Anywhere else, I don't go into legal agreements because there's no point in suing. It just takes too much time. And in the US, I know if I'm right, you're just going to pay a fucking hell of a fine. And then it's like, when I do agreements, it's always the court in the Netherlands. So I can just get you to the Netherlands, or I get my way just by legal process anyways.
Yeah.
So it's like, you have to protect yourself in that circle. Like, agreements are everything. They're annoying. Like, I have to do 2 after this podcast because I just have to get them done on time. And it's like always agreements and agreements and agreements. And it's like all legal talk, all official talk. It's the same when I look at the big companies. Same with MediaCube, same with Soul Publishing, Collab, Fuga, all of the big partners that I work with. And it's like everything has to go through multiple processes and through legal. That's why when you're small and you're just one single creator, it is so easy to get results. Like, for me to sometimes get a reply, take 3 working days. Like, when you can text me, it takes me 2 hours maybe.
Yeah.
That's like you're winning in that area. And once you're big enough, you can exploit sponsor deals, but also multiple platforms. If I call a platform out right now, Voom, have you ever heard about it?
No.
There you go.
Now it's going to get juicy.
And it made me $4,000 a month. It's the same as TikTok. It's the same as Reels, but it's for Japan.
Yeah.
Yet it makes me $4,000 a month.
But that's the difference between you and the other guys. Like, you know all of those exploits. And I feel like if you want to be like in the top 0.00001% of automation, you need to know everything. Like, I think Fed talked about this as well. Like, that you and him are the only ones who truly know everything about automation and all the exploits and the slime videos and the mice running in cages and stuff. Like all those content farms, you guys know about everything. I think Andrew as well.
Yeah,
I've really talked a lot to him, but there's kind of like this small group who knows everything. Yeah. And I really think that's interesting. I had a question as well. Because you say like you want to take people to court in the Netherlands, but I think your company is not established in the Netherlands, right?
Correct.
So could you have a company somewhere else, but still have the legal agreement be viable in a certain country?
Yes,
Okay.
because you have 2 statutes of limitability in the agreement. One is where the court takes place, and the other one is on which law it's based. So
Okay.
even if it's a UK company, it has an agreement like based in the Netherlands under Dutch jurisdictions. So that is possible.
Okay. Interesting.
So no, feel free to ask. Feel free to ask anything.
Yeah, we will after the podcast. For
Sure.
I need some legal
yeah.
advice, man.
Yeah, no, have a lot of ways and questions and things. The same for me. I'm probably going to move to Cyprus. Actually, I'm going to leave
Interesting.
Dubai most likely
Yeah.
because I want a tax certificate because I now also have a house in the Netherlands.
Mhm.
Even though that's not my majority place of living, I do have that there. So that's an option. The other thing for me personally is that I am now financially free. I don't need anything else. I just am building my last villas in Bali. After that, I don't have to do anything. I make 20 grand a month just from my properties alone. And then it's like, yeah, what the fuck ever.
By the way, this is going to be an interesting question because you are also someone who likes to watch Julian Petroulis, right?
Yeah.
You've seen the drama he had with the Indonesian government. Does that scare you, having villas?
Good question. Does it scare me? Yes and no. I think because he got into a big issue, that it has gotten bigger than it was supposed to be. I'm just curious what's going to happen in court. That's my point. Because the thing is, if they're going to make an example out of him, same way they've done that with Donald Trump in New York, then they're going to have a big issue because he has influence, he has a big following, and people like me also follow him. And if that's going to cause issues for investors because they are changing the laws consistently, now you need further updates. I now needed to pay an extra 10 million rupiah as well just to get some legal paperwork updated. It's like they're consistently changing stuff and consistently making money where investments do look less interesting. But I do have to say Bali is probably one of the best places to live. It's so cheap. Everything is close. They have very lenient tourism visas. There's a lot of people coming in and out. People stay in Bali for very long periods of time. It's the longest actually in the world. The average stay in Indonesia, in Bali, is 23 days on average.
Interesting, yeah.
Which, if you compare it to Paris, where it's only 3, or you compare it to Barcelona, where it's 5, having 23-day average stay means there's a lot of money to be made. And I don't know if that was said on the podcast, but if correctly, Penny Lane makes like 50 grand a day.
Yeah.
That's like mind-blowing amounts of money. That's why you can have like so much invested, because while you make $1 million every 20 days, then it gets a lot easier. For me, that takes about 180 days, so that's 9 times as much as I make, and it's absolutely incredible. I have nothing but respect for that. But does it scare me? Not at this moment, until legal precautions have taken on both sides. Because if he gets scammed, I've heard more stories about people getting scammed in Indonesia. That's also the reason, like, we're now trying to get a new office, and we're also feeling a little bit edgy on that person. So we're also trying to, hey, one precaution, what we can do is we have the passports, we have the documents, only the actual person that owns it can show up, because he first wanted to send someone else. And we said, no, if that's the case, we're not going to go through. Like, the actual person has to show up to, not court, but like a legal signing procedure, verify his details, be with me there in person. And he was traveling, so he wasn't there in January. So I said, okay, then you wait till February, not my problem. Yeah, you're not there when I was there. Like, you left, that's not my problem. Like, we have already a pre-signed agreement digitally, but you need to have the one with the stamp and then the signature over it. Otherwise, it's not 100% legal in Indonesia. So you just have to be ridiculously careful going over that. So that's it. But and the other point is, like, the return on investment is so ridiculously interesting that it does make a lot of sense to invest in there.
Fair enough, yeah.
So it has its pluses and minuses. So does it scare me? At the moment, no. We would have to see what happens, because he says, like, I purchased something, but you have to say, I purchased a leasehold. That just sounds stupid, and I agree, it sounds stupid for sure. If you're making content, you're making videos, you're saying, I bought my dream house.
It's the same reason why people say, like, my $1 million penthouse while they rent it, right? Yeah.
You're not going to say, my $1 million leasehold penthouse. It sounds fucking stupid. You
doesn't
don't
get clicks either.
It doesn't get clicks either. Maybe now it does, because everyone talks about it. But no, I would be reasonably careful with that. My strategy now is, after this, I have enough in Bali. My only idea that I want to do in Bali is get multiple investors. I was actually talking with Noah about this, also with Solomon, my trainer, with Menno, my success coach, that maybe we can buy a resort. So we're just all going to put in 250K or 300K and just have like 7-8 rooms, and we just all equally invest in that company, and then we all equally get the dividends distributed. But we just make sure we do quality number one, and then have a very in-depth agreement. because like I said, my goal is to schedule to go to 100 million, and one of those parts is investing more and more and more money into real estate.
Very safe bet.
Very safe bet, but the thing is, like, businesses grow harder. Like I said before, my coaching business made a 10x, and then it's like I cannot get a 10x on real estate within the next 100 years.
No, but it's a matter of like having those cash flow 10x's and then keeping the capital you make into real estate, and that's how you grow that to 100M.
Yeah, 100%. And that's also the thing. Like, I built my leasehold for about 320K, but now my leasehold is worth 450K. Yeah. So now my leasehold made 130K in profit. Just being safe here, so, Indonesian government. 130K in profit in that regards, and 130K in a year time of not doing anything but building something is really good money.
Very good.
So I'm making money on that end, and it wasn't even one villa, it were 2 villas. So the other one probably goes up 150K, 180K when it's finished. So now it's like, now I have, another 180K on top, and then my net worth just stacks and stacks and stacks. I'll show you the document. I actually tracked my net worth since 2023 till now. And you just see it from slightly going from being like 1 million to now almost hitting like 4 million. And it's like, you just see the line going up and up and up and up and up. And then it depends, like sometimes YouTube does extremely well. Like August 2023, we had like our biggest month ever. We did 500,000 in one single month. And then it's like, all of that money went into real estate, and now it's like, hey, now I'm making a lot less money. Now it's going up, luckily, again. At least over 6 figures again, finally. Took about 6-7 months of recovering from going to 40,000 in losses to 6 figures in profits again.
Insane.
So yeah, but it was like 17 hours every single day. Same as I'm doing in Dubai now, is I'm literally waking up at 12 p.m. and I work till 5 a.m. and I do that every single day now. It's mind-blowing, but it goes well.
Yeah.
Thanks. So yeah, you have to look at like building systems, and honestly, I'm not even saying this because I'm biased on coaching and I've done it myself, but my last 2 investments into coaching for my transformation got me a 6-pack in 45 days. And then my other investments made sure that my coaching business 10x'd in 2 months. So I have both of those things compounding for me. And then it's like, investing in the coach is such a cheat code.
Yeah.
And for sure, if you're still not earning as much money, or you need, like, even I said to people, like, at the end of the year, it was a pretty smart marketing technique for me. I was saying, like, if you need a tax deductible, why don't you buy coaching? And then they're like, oh yeah, otherwise I pay taxes. And otherwise I get like a discount on coaching. It's like, okay, I'll just get the coaching. But it's like, they get the coaching, and then we had another guy also apply the 80-20 rule, which like, hey, listen, we're looking at the outliers, and we're just changing that same concept just slightly differently. And we literally doubled his real time in the first week of coaching. So the guy literally goes from 9K a month. Most likely within the first month, he's going from 9K to 18K with just a 30-minute call. And I was like, yeah, you're welcome. I literally replied, just like very slightly, like, yeah, I know what I'm doing. I know what I look at. And just, here you get your information and work with it. And it's like, just that only thing for that guy, he makes his money back within the first 30 days. And it's like, that's why you get coaching. Also because you forget the basics. And it's the exact same thing with my personal brand. I'm not the best person at personal branding. So what do? I text Leroy as an example as well, like, hey, which fucking titles should I pick for my own YouTube channel? Like, I have no problem for any other channel to come up with topic ideas and title ideas or whatsoever. But my own channel, it's
yeah, but it's,
I don't like it.
Like you said, like, coaches are such a cheat code, and it's the reason why What If hired me as well, right? Like, they needed someone who had more knowledge about ideation, who could get their channel from a pretty low view floor at that point to a higher one, and it all it really takes is one video. Because some months, like, I helped them with ideation and packaging and stuff, but I also was I also had to bring ideas myself, and some months I didn't come up with anything because I'm just saying to them, there's nothing going on. But I once found, like, that's when I found one good video, one good outlier in an adjacent niche to them. I told them, like, you have to do this, prioritize this. I don't care what it takes. I know you're 3 months ahead. You have to do this as soon as possible. And then it still took some time, but they did it. They made it better. They made it longer. They gave it a better thumbnail. They slightly twisted the title. Has over almost 7 million views in 4 weeks, while their view floor is normally 100,000 views. And then it's like, this video literally paid for like 2 years of my coaching. You're welcome, right? And that is like the power of coaching. All they have to do is just give you that one cheat code, that one video, that one strategy, that one whatever. And it can pay not only for the coaching, but for years of coaching, right?
Yeah.
And that's what people don't see. Some coaching programs or retainers or calls are very expensive, but the ROI you can get from that,
Yeah, it's really high. It's like what you pay for it.
Exactly, yeah. I also wanted to talk about your move to Cyprus because you asked me, why do you think partnership is the new wave? For me as well, now that I'm living in Dubai, it's a heaven for consultants, right? Because 0% tax. But Dubai has no tax treaty with the US. So any ad revenue you get from the US will be taxed at 30% in the US, right? So I hear a lot of YouTubers also moving from Dubai to Cyprus because then they have that tax treaty again.
Correct.
And for me, I don't really like Cyprus that much. I haven't been, but it doesn't appeal to me. I like Dubai right now. And then I can have the 0% tax from the consulting, but also have 0% tax because I'm getting royalties dividends from a partner that's getting revenue from a tax treaty country, right?
Yeah,
that's the main thing.
You just write it in the agreement that they collect the money and you're responsible for receiving 50% of the net revenue generated, and that would be probably the way to go around it.
Yeah, is that also a reason why you're moving to Cyprus?
No, I never had any issues with withholding because majority of my channels I work through networks. The networks is like where they are based and they are responsible for that. So the end responsibility, one, is never with me. And secondly, if it's in a managed CMS or the account is created, then I'm never responsible for that anyways, because technically speaking, the YouTube accounts, and that's very funny, are not even mine. on legal paperwork, they're not even mine. They're from the network. So it is like where the network is based, where I pay the withholding tax, which is in this case 0, and I just get paid X amount of that channel, which technically speaking isn't mine. But at the end, I'm the one managing and in control of it, and I get to say I have 100% full say in anything that happens on the channel, managing the channel whatsoever, but they are the owner of it.
Yeah, I felt like that was the other option, letting it run through an MCN. But I have talked to other automation guys and they said like it is kind of risky because you're playing a game where if the IRS looks into it, or if Dubai sets up an IRS similar to America, they're probably going to be like, this kind of looks like tax evasion to me. Yeah,
yes and no. It's like, if are you doing it on purpose or you're doing it for a reason? And then that is, of course, something which only the courts decide.
Yeah.
So for me, it is like, hey, listen, if I use my own AdSense and I'm going to get one single channel terminated, I'm going to risk a lot of revenue.
Yeah.
So for me, it is a security matter, as you've seen as well. And that's also where you can collect proof. Noah lost 8 channels because one channel got terminated.
Yeah.
And then the thing is, I don't have that issue. Like, I have probably over 45 plus terminated channels. And it's like, for me, I run everything through a network. And also I did a lot of stuff in the past with content ID, which you cannot do as a creator. So I'm not responsible for that withholding tax either. So it's then like, I make sure that nothing connects the dots to me, rather than being like, hey, listen, I'm trying to do tax shopping. I'm not trying to do tax shopping, because even we work with a party in China and they pay 9% withholding tax.
Yeah.
So it just is, for me, a security matter, in which I can prove that. And then it's like, hey, listen, then it's up for the courts to decide if that is legally substantial or not.
I don't think so, because it is complicated.
It's complicated, but at the end of the day, the court is who decides that. That's the same with fair use. Is reacting videos, is that considered fair use? On the YouTube platform, it allows you for monetization. But the moment I do full reaction videos of Family Guys, I don't get monetized. Yeah. But if I do full reaction videos of satisfying videos and try not to say wow challenge, then it is fair use. Where there is the difference? There's no difference.
No, because only like Family Guy has more power. I feel
exactly.
Like that,
And that's the reason they can get away with it. Otherwise, I could react to full seasons and just make a shitload of money and say, why the fuck are you claiming me? Because it's considered fair use on YouTube. Yeah. It's like, no, YouTube also doesn't dictate what fair use is.
True.
Only the court dictates what fair use is. So that's also like this edgy area where like we own 300,000 plus satisfying videos, and if people use them, we do take them down. For sure on short channels as well. Like, hey, if we see people using our channels and our content, like on shorts, if we claim a visual claim, we don't get any money. But if we do that on like the long format videos, we get money. Yeah. So on short format videos, sorry, it makes no sense for me to claim you because I make nothing. Only music deals get extra money. Visuals don't.
Yeah, that's true.
So it's like, my only way of making money is to take down your channel, charge you a shitload of money, get a percentage from you, and if you don't listen, I'll do it again.
Yeah. Game's the game.
And that's it. Yeah, sorry. It's like, oh, but I just started short channel. Yeah, I don't care. You steal my content. You got 10 million views. You're going to pay me.
See, the thing is, like, people feel bad for getting copyright strike, like people getting copyright striked and stuff.
Yeah.
But that's the game you're playing. You're still playing that game.
Yeah, you're taking content which isn't yours, and you don't have a license for it. So,
And
like, I've been in the same field.
But it's funny because it's also one of my marketing techniques for branded channels, because you're less you can still, of course, get copyright strike and stuff, but it's harder to get that done because there is more transformation. But that's why I find it funny when people that run automation channels or trending channels, like, for example, misinformation political channels, complain on the timeline about their stuff getting taken down. Like,
Yeah,
wasn't that the game you're playing? Like, didn't you know that could happen and you made your money? So fair enough, let's go to the next one. Right?
Just do it again until you get taken down again.
Yeah, like, why are you complaining? Like, they're not gonna reinstate you anyways. Like, why are you tagging YouTube support? Like, they don't care about you. You're deliberately spreading misinformation, right?
Yeah.
So
yeah, I've done it a few times as well. Created, like, fake war scenarios.
Yeah, it's just like people still somewhat get attached to those type of channels, but you have to understand at that point you're also playing a risky game, and you need to accept the consequences if something like that happens to you.
Yeah, and I agree. We had people do far over 6 figures with that kind of content, and then just get taken down. And I'm like, you made your money. Like, you made generational wealth within like a year. Take your money, do it again. And at the same time, invest it in like a couple of real estate properties. Make sure you get 10K a month bottom line through investments. And then after that, you don't have to worry about a single thing in the rest of your life. That's also the reason why depending, of course, what, because I'm going to Twan Manders, Dutch consultancy guy, like what he will consult me. I might even move back completely to the Netherlands and start paying a lot of taxes again. But at the same time, what am I going to do? I'm going to make sure I build generational wealth from that. How do I do that? Okay, one of the options is I'm going to buy an office. One of the other options is I'm going to create a holding company, which we're actually here in a gorgeous video studio.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like, there's nothing like this in the Netherlands, so that's where I can spend my first 6 figures again, and maybe like multiple locations. I could spend $200,000-$300,000, and then every single time I'm just going to deduct my taxes to zero. It's okay, I need systems for this. Now I have a booking system. Now I have an extra guy in staff. Now you buy a company car. You know, you can pay salaries to, let's say, your wife or to your mom just under the baseline in the Netherlands, and then you pay 0 taxes. Like, I can do that and have my parents go with pension, with it coming from my company account. And it's like, yeah, there's so many ways of like paying minimum tax.
Yeah, no, I do agree. And I think like everyone thinks Dubai, 0% tax. Like, it's promoted as tax haven, whatever, right? But I feel like Dubai right now for me is the right season, because I'm not a beginner, but I'm going to be completely honest with you guys. I'm not making 100K a month. I'm making, because I'm building a lot of stuff and slowing down on the consulting, I'm making around like 10 to 20K, right? Yeah. And for Dubai, that's perfect, because when I left the Netherlands, I didn't have like a BV, for example. I was a sole proprietorship or something like that, right? Yeah. So the government was like, you know what, your company is valued at 0 because you don't have any assets or whatever. Yeah. Goodbye. Like, you can leave easily. And that was the right moment for me, because I don't have capital yet. Yeah. So now I earn enough to live here and earn enough to build here. And from here, I can build some good wealth. But as soon as you start hitting those high numbers, there are better models out there to, of course, build generational wealth. Yeah. Like you're saying, you're moving to Cyprus. I know people that, for example, also with an agency can go to Dublin and also get 0%
or
tax
even Wyoming or
there's so
Hong
many
Kong.
ways. There's so many ways, and I feel like Dubai is a very easy to enter good wealth building at the beginning, but like at one point you can also move to different countries and also get tax benefits if you have the cash to invest in good mentors, like you said. Yeah, exactly. So Dubai is a good choice, but it's not only Dubai. There are more places out there where you can build generational wealth, even in your home country. Yeah,
100%. And there's always ways and techniques, and like just getting your tax as low as possible. And then the other point is like, where do you want to live? Do you think the most reason that I want to leave Dubai is because there's no nature? Yeah. Like, I feel here locked up, and I'm only here for money and work and nothing else. Like, I love to go to the beach, but now I'm not close to a beach. Like, I actually have like a 2-floor apartment, and then it's like I'm after a building, so there's never any sunlight really coming in. So it's like I have to
That's
go
rough.
out to just feel better.
Yeah.
And then it's like the only good thing is it's in the street of the studio. So I walk here for 2-3 minutes and that's it. So it's like, for me, this is ideal for work. I just work as much as possible, 10, 11 days, and I go back and that's it.
Yeah.
And then it's like the Netherlands has nature. I also want to get my dog over to Europe. So that's the reason why I'm also looking at Cyprus. Because then I can just fly from Netherlands to Cyprus with my dog and there's no issues.
Yeah, but that's also the thing. Like, there's different phases in life, right? Like, you're younger than me, but you started.
How old are you actually?
I'm 27.
Oh yeah, then I'm younger, yeah.
Yeah. So you started earlier than me. Like, I started late at 21 that I really started doing YouTube full time. So I'm in the phase right now, like, I want to go next level.
Yeah.
Like, I want to go next level before I'm 30. So I'm kind of in that phase where most people right now at 20 years old are moving to Dubai to grind.
Yeah.
I have the benefit that I have my girlfriend with me. So I have additional support, which will make that easier because I'm not just sitting in my office, going to bed alone, sitting in my office, going to bed alone. There is more incentive for me. But yeah, that's like the current phase of my life. But I'm not going to sit here until I'm 40. Like that's not going to happen.
No,
as soon as I build my wealth and I start looking around and I see and I get sick of the desert and no nature and stuff like you, that's when I start looking around as well. But I feel like everyone should have that phase where they're building in the most optimal work environment, which in my case is Dubai.
100%, no doubts.
But if you don't have the money yet, could also be in your home country. Just rent a small apartment with friends or an office and just go hard 16 hours a day, right? There's various ways to navigate that phase.
Yeah, very simple. That's also why I think of maybe launching a retreat this year. When I get YouTubers and people over to Bali and probably even Lombok, rent a nice villa, get that like 2 weeks Bali, 2 weeks Lombok, and just train together, live together, do that for a month straight, and just make as much content as possible and milk the shit out of that. And then I'm like, that's a very interesting part. And at the same time with Dubai, what I think is very great, and also for me, I've been in Dubai for 4.5 years.
Yeah.
For you, it's your first week.
Exactly.
So, like I've made my millions. I'm good to go. Julius Patola said the same thing now. Like I have enough money to do whatever I want, whenever I want. The guy flies a private jet like twice a week, and like I don't have that money even. It's like, to which point do I want to get?
Yeah.
And in that regards, I'm now making my vision plan. Where it's like most likely what I want to do for now, this is my idea, is probably do another 2-3 years, because I'm 25, 2-3 years in Cyprus. Then after 2-3 years, then I'm 27, 28. Maybe then I want to start with children or something.
Yeah.
I think that's a beautiful age.
Absolutely.
Then I want to start heading back towards the Netherlands, because I do feel that attraction to the Netherlands, where it's like a lot of nature. I'm close to a forest, like it's a 200-meter walk for me.
Very peaceful as well.
Yeah, very peaceful. I have a grocery stores nearby. My parents live like 1 kilometer away from me. So it's like I have the ideal situation, and I have an absolutely beautiful home in which I went 120,000 euros over budget just to get it as beautiful as possible. So even in the winter, I have a jacuzzi, I have a fireplace outside, I have a fireplace inside. It's like I can make it as cozy as I want without having that winter depression that everyone else has. I miss my family. That's probably the biggest part. I have a lovely, caring family. We all think the same. We're all business oriented. And that really gives me the urge to go back. And at the same time, I didn't have a car for 4 years, and I used to have a supercar, so I miss having a supercar.
No, I get that.
So definitely when I'm going back, it's going to be a good, juicy car coming in.
But that's the goal, right? Eventually moving back with a big stash of cash and building there. And I think that's a beautiful thing you're saying. I agree. I would also start with children at this age if I wasn't in the phase I am right now.
Yeah,
like I just want to build, and I think at like 32, for example, I can still do that.
100%.
I can still make children. But yeah, the goal is definitely for me as well, 5 years of absolute grinding here, trying to make the best of it, go to 10M liquid before I'm 40.
Yeah.
I could go way higher, of course, but I'm more of a realistic guy. I know I'm surrounded by people that are like shoot for the stars. I know Leroy is like, I want to make like 10M, and you're like at 100M. I'm more like 10M will probably be reasonable, and I will probably make that, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, I completely agree. At one point, you want to go back, and as you get older, you want to build something with a family in a good place where it's familiar. And it might not be as safe as Dubai, it might not be as convenient as Dubai, but it's home. And you want to feel at home in that stage of your life. Yeah. But as I said on Twitter as well, and I actually had a conversation with 2 Lucases here in Dubai. They're also starting their automation journey. You know, they're at like 20K a month. They're trying to reach the next level. I told them as well, hire an office, the two of you, and start going in there every single day, 16 hours a day. I know on Twitter, like KPM and Sully do that. In Malta, I think they reached the next level. If I was single, I would have done the same right now. I would have probably I would have probably rented an apartment with a couple of friends that have similar values, and just go hard. Because that's how you truly reach that generational wealth, by having a phase like that at the beginning with like-minded people around you. And the downside to me being already a bit older and being settled is I can't do that.
Yeah.
Like I'm not bringing some 20-year-old in my apartment with my girlfriend, right? Like it's just me.
Yeah.
But even then, I feel like if you want to maximize your growth, just have someone else with you.
Yeah.
100%. And I know a lot of people in this stage of their life don't want a girlfriend, because they're just focused on work. And to be fair, like I lucked out in the current climate. It is quite hard to find a girlfriend that aligns with your vision and your goals. Very lucky with that. But if you don't have that, find friends, find people around you that share those values, and then go hard together. And then once you're established, that's when you can start looking around like, what do you call it in English? Huisje, boompje, beestje.
Home, animal, tree.
Exactly. Yeah.
I think something like that.
Yeah,
No, I think that's a very good point. And I think a supportive girlfriend definitely can help in a lot of ways as well. In regards to food and cooking and cleaning and peace of mind. A good massage to get the stress gone a little bit. And if she's supportive, or a good massage, also possible.
I was about to say
that.
Happy ending,
that's definitely part of it. You can also get those in Dubai, but wouldn't recommend those.
Don't think you want those now.
No, I don't think I want those either.
Can you get them with
Kareem, get a 50
or
euros one. Huh?
Can you get them with Kareem as well, or
Kareem?
Kareem?
Oh, no. You do have another app called One Life.
Oh, you did your market research.
No, it's you can actually get massages at home.
Okay.
I got offered it once, so I actually know how and what. So funny story. That's very interesting, and I think also with like Dubai and being older, that Dubai is still a perfect way, and you can probably even do Indonesia. Indonesia has really low taxes as well, 11% pretty much, and then 10% dividends.
And lower cost of living.
Yeah, way lower cost of living. If you're just going to grind away in Lombok for like a year or 2 years, you're going to have such an amazing quality of life. Like I'm going to do it next year as well, and I'm just going to sit there and like be with a chef in a nice villa with good content, with a cameraman, my editor, my trainer, and then maybe a few friends with that, like 8 people maybe, 8 or 10. And then maybe even have like a second villa where everyone comes together. We have like a community thing. Everyone does like YouTube. I don't know, last time we went to the beach and we played soccer with kids and other people, and I was in the best shape of my life and it felt amazing, and I just want to do that journey again. That's the reason why I'm investing in that again. So I'm spending more money than I ever have on also like enjoying life a little bit more, because I was always scary that my YouTube income would disappear, because I've had that happen now 3 times in my life, when I was 18, 21 and 25. Where I pretty much went down to 0 again. But I do know how hardworking I can be, and that for me is luckily enough the reason why I can get these results on a consistent basis and get new channels off the ground. And also with coaching, like I'm running 2, technically speaking, 3 companies all at once. A real estate company, I have the YouTube stuff, 45 active channels right now. And at the same time, the coaching business has 10x, so that takes a lot more time, a lot more meetings, a lot more structure. Legality also, and more reasons, and that's why I now want to have a base and settle everything properly. So I spend a lot of time just looking on tax stuff and advice in that regards, and it's like I want to stop doing that. Just one base, one ground, one rule, one thing, done. So I can just focus on printing money. Alex Hormozi said very nice as well. I don't think is it called Peru? No, not Peru. Next to America, you have another country with 0
Puerto
tax.
Rico?
Puerto Rico, yeah. Like Puerto Rico, and this guy like flies up and down every weekend to Puerto Rico for his tax treaty and stuff. And then it's like, but the amount of time that he's spending in the plane and spending going from one place to another place and having 2 places costs so much money. Is how much money are you actually saving? Yeah,
and it's also like I need a base. I'm a person like I can never do digital nomading. I would hate it. I would absolutely hate it.
Yeah. For me, I'm at the point where I have that as well. I've done it for 4.5 years and it went perfectly fine. I could probably do it for another 2 or 3, But I don't see myself doing this for much longer, to be honest.
Yeah, at one point you reach an age where you don't want to do that anymore, right?
Yeah.
It's like I'm more of a base vacation type of guy. Like you have
Yeah.
one base, and then if you're sick of it, you go on holiday, and you're like, I want to lock in again. I go back, sit another 6 months there.
Yeah, literally same. I'm like, I just want to just spend a fuck ton of money on 2-3 holidays a year.
Yeah, exactly.
And not like, now I go here, now I go here, now I go there. No, just like, if I go to Lombok, I just want to be with my friends, make content. I don't care if I spend $1,100 a night on just to stay alone. And the rest of there in total, like last time I was in Dubai to launch the program, I spent like 21 grand for like 2 weeks in total. And it's like, yeah, but that was fun. I was with friends. We were playing Monopoly all night. We were just ordering burgers, ordering food, hitting the gym. That was amazing. That's the grind. You spend a lot, you make a lot.
But it's actually quite ironic and funny. Like it's become full circle, because when you work a 9 to 5 or when you work like a full-time job, you get around 2 to 3 holidays per year. Yeah. And you're like, I want more. Yeah. And like now you're at a point where I just want 2 or 3 holidays a year. But like the spending I do there is just 100x. That's the only difference.
Yeah.
But yeah, most people, when they get out of a 9 to 5, they just want to live free and live in Bali and then digital nomad. But at one point, like you kind of go back to wanting that.
The roots, the home base.
The routine again, the home base. And then vacations are the same as when you work a 9 to 5, but
now you're just at a better location.
You're in the 5-star hotel instead of a 2, right? Instead of a hostel, you're in a 5-star hotel, which is to me also quality of life. And I don't have to travel the world. I just want to visit places I find interesting. I don't have to be there for 3 months. I can also see stuff in a week.
Well.
Yeah, exactly.
Like as an example, I know Harris is also going to a Bali event where the other guy is also talking about stuff. And I'm like, okay, that's an interesting concept.
Gavin John, I
forgot his name. And it's like, there's correct 10 people coming, 1,500 a pop. And it's like, even that's interesting. You just do a 2-day or 3-day or 4-day event.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm probably going to do a 2-3-day event for like a bigger group. And then I want to probably do like a 2-week event where it's just like all living together and then going to Lombok for another 2 weeks. Where it's like, hey, listen, you want to be with entrepreneurs, like-minded people and a fitness trainer, then come here and we have a personal chef. You get good food, consistent basis. But it's just gonna not be 1,500. It's gonna be like probably like 8 or 10 grand. Yeah. But then it's like, hey, everything besides the flights is arranged for you, and the flight from Bali to Lombok and Lombok to Bali is also arranged. Yeah. So it's like perfect for you. As an example, for you maybe not, but for other people, it's like perfectly designed to be like, hey, listen, this is going to help you go to the next step and get all the lessons and network with everyone. And I'm like, that's also very funny. That also I talk a lot with ChatGPT. Where my plan of getting to the $100 million net worth is also organizing masterminds. And that can also do, like, it's very good in many ways because 1, it's social proof, 2, it's content, and 3, you can make money on that. But even if I like get break even, I would still be happy with it. Yeah,
but so many people do that. Like Samuel Nua, I know does it. Charlie Morgan does it as like an extension to his program. Yeah. Alex Samosi does workshops. Yeah. Like there's a reason all these people do that. It's because the reasons you just listed. It's very profitable, but also nurtures your current clients and potential new leads as well. Yeah, 100%. Which is very good. So it's like, it's always worth it. Always.
Yeah, same what I said with the event in the Netherlands that I'm doing. Like I'm spending 6K, but I have like all these plaques that I ordered. Like I wouldn't say fake play buttons, but they're sort of fake play buttons. But you see that they're fake because there's wood underneath.
Come on, man.
No. They're beautiful. I'll show you the design. Okay. It's like a plaque, like a very thin thing, but on like expensive wood. So about 125 a pop. And
then afterwards you ship them over to Cam's or...
Sorry, I'm gonna get hate for that one. He's already targeting me with the stupid bots on Twitter.
Oh, gosh. I'm sorry. Please, just a joke.
So
don't take me as well.
No, so it's like a wooden, like as an example, like this wood. It's like a little wooden background, and then it has like the plaque design on top of it. Because normally it says like, congratulations for surpassing 100,000 subscribers, and then you have the YouTube logo underneath it. And now it will have like, congratulations for surpassing X amount a month. Awesome. And then underneath it has the Warner logo carved out.
Oh, okay.
So it's like fully branded, and then I have like all the plaques, and then I can have a picture with me with the plaques, and I can have a picture with the person with the plaques, and you get so much content out of that, which is then, again, worth it. And that's the reason you can spend so much money on those masterminds and have those organized groups and events for networking, where that is the place to meet new people. It's the place to meet like-minded people and train and work on fitness and work on health. And you have a personal chef, and then you have a day in the desert. Like you have a group called, what is it, 982 Lifestyle, something like that, on Instagram, and they do like all organized events, and they've now organized their entire schedule for this year already. And it's like, hey, we're going to Greece, and then the Greece is like with 14 people, and then we have Dubai, and Dubai is with 21 people. But instead of staying like in some low places, you're staying at the Palm at like a great villa, but you're going to pay like $8,500 for 4 days, as an example. And then you're looking for those segments in order to make those things interesting. And that's like the next step that I'm looking at as well. Is like, how can I get to that $100 million net worth? And you're just consistently contemplating like, okay, now I do this, now I do that. Right now, for me, besides the event and the last few investments that I've just done, it's like I don't have more money to invest. Yeah. The only investment I can make right now is time and content. For content, okay, I spent a little bit of money on the studio, I spent a little bit of money on editing. It's still a little bit expensive, but it's not a majority of my money. So now my bank accounts are just going to fill up again, and then I have money to do more extravagant things. That's why you take everything step basis. Also, the reason why I found it so interesting when Iman Ghatzi said like they're trying to release a program every single month. Yeah. But it's like, I don't want to be related to like a course seller. No. I want to be related to like, hey, here's a course for free, but you have to use XYZ software to get those results. And now we're working on getting those results. Yeah. So that's the most interesting part. And I'm like, that's very interesting, but I don't have software, so that doesn't work for me. But maybe the next part of business that I can do would be something like that. But it's like now I'm organizing an event, and then after the event, I have another really cool thing coming out soon, which is only going to be like $100, which people are going to absolutely love. And then I hope to do a massive amount of sales with that. And then all the money gets funneled into like the next part and the next part. And now you have the very famous title, which is like, fuck it, I made X amount of money in so many days and weeks. And I was like, okay, I see that going well. Well, I got a fuck ton of channels, so I can show quite a few of those videos. So guess where I am tomorrow? Back in this fucking studio making those videos. Yeah. Because I know that concept works. So that's so far been absolutely great. I see we have 5 minutes left.
Should we give some final game about YouTube? Because we talked a lot of business.
A lot of business, but I think very interesting for people. But
absolutely, Bob.
Let's give some tips to the people who are starting out. What would be your number one tip for someone who's just starting with YouTube automation?
I would first of all look at all the free value there is. Maybe like YouTube videos, because right now on Twitter, like everyone's saying comment DM for this, and it's the same slop all over again. You're not really gonna, I don't know, man. It's difficult to find the gems in there because everyone is doing it right now, right? And no one's gonna give you the full blueprint because then they don't have anything to sell on the back end anymore. So I would watch YouTube videos, try to get as much free value as possible, and then just do research. Like all the people I see making 20K a month from zero did a ton of niche research. Like they spent 6 months just finding all the outliers, finding all the niches, exploring interesting niches, then learning how it's set up, learning how to do thumbnails, learning how to edit. And then all of a sudden they put all their attention on that one channel, one niche, and that's how they build it to 20K a month, right? So just hyper focus on one thing, hyper focus on research, but at one point, of course, execute, because a lot of people get stuck in that research. At one point you have to execute, but just start with research if you already have some knowledge about YouTube, right? Because if you have zero knowledge about YouTube, you don't even know where the upload button is, start with that. But if you've been in the community for some time and you still haven't gotten any results, then most of the time it's your ideation and research, and you need to double down on that.
Yeah, I agree. And what do you think for people that are already making 10K a month but can't get to 30K a month? What would be your number one tip for those people?
Most of the time it's just volume, literally just volume and better ideas. Like, of course, the more volume you do, the more hits you're gonna have as well, because the problem I had with Out of Bounds is we were overthinking every idea every month because he was uploading once a month. So he's like, but will this idea work? I'm like, I've run through the whole validation process. Everything points to 1 million, but you know, we're still dealing with an algorithm here. It's one shot on goal per month. Yeah, we have to make it. And if you upload weekly, for example, you have 4 shots on goal, you can experiment more. And with those experimentations, you get way higher views because you suddenly introduce a new format that you would normally not do. And that format could be the sudden 1M, 5M, 10M, right? And then that fuels the channel for a year, sometimes 2 years. That one viral video from What If, not only did that ripple effect, because it's currently in escrow, so we're not seeing the money yet, but that video alone has created such a ripple effect on the channel that we doubled the revenue that month purely from the views that rippled onto the other videos. So we're not even seeing the revenue from that one video yet. And on another channel, like a bodycam channel, we had a video with 7 million. And that's literally the reason why it's currently doing 20K a month, because that one video constantly supplies the revenue floor every single month. So if you focus on getting that one video in, either through volume or a lot of research, you get that video in, that's the baseline, then you double down on that with volume, and that's how you get to way higher revenue numbers.
Perfect. I want to thank you so much for coming on the podcast. It's a pleasure.
Thank you so much for having me.
Thanks everyone for watching. Please make sure you subscribe and join the newsletter down below. And I want to wish you a beautiful day.